Hello dear students, in this video we are going to learn the lesson why do we fall ill and the topic principles of treatment and principles of prevention. So as previously we have already discussed about why do we fall ill, and also we have discussed the various infectious agents or the pathogens, and also have discussed about the types of diseases, that is infectious and non-infectious disease, right? So let us learn now that how these diseases can be treated or can be prevented. That is the diseases that are caused due to the infection of some pathogens, including fungi, bacteria, viruses, or even pathogen, right? So there are some principles which are followed for the treatment as well as for prevention, right? So that is what we are going to discuss in this video, right? So let us see. First we will discuss the principles of treatment. As for the treatment, as we know that what happens to our body when we get an infection, right? So certainly when we are infected with some pathogens, it can be either bacteria, virus, or any pathogen, there are some changes or there are some discomfort that are felt by the patient or the person, and that is some are also due to the immune response, like that is for example the inflammation or some of the symptoms which includes fever, headache, stomachache, etc. So in principles of treatment, so we will see first about the principles of treatment for the treatment, right? So principles of treatment, that includes number one, lower down the effect, or you can say the symptoms, right? Number one, lower down the effect or the symptoms. Some symptoms like fever or stomach ache, headache. So what can be done initially, that the symptoms can be lowered down or the effect. For example, if you take a little rest, right? So your headache may be cured, right? Or it will not be cured, but it will be lowered down, right? The effects will be lowered down. So first principle you can say, that is to reduce the effects of the disease, and the next one is to kill the pathogens or neutralize the infectious agent, right? To kill. Second principle of treatment. First, what happens, that the symptoms, if it is a stomach ache or headache or even fever, so the effect is lowered down. You may have seen someone or people practicing a kind of soaking the cloth in a water and putting on head, because to lower down the temperature. So that is also one of the step or one of the activity or process you can say when people do when you are suffering from fever and you do not have medicines at the moment. Apart from that, when you take rest, your headache seems to be lowering down, right? Or even when you are having stomach ache, you try to do some movement where it is like you try to lie down or something like that. But reduction of the symptoms will not cure you completely, right? As these symptoms are due to the infection, are due to the growth of the disease-causing microorganism in our body, right? So as preliminary step, as you will be relieved for some time, because the infection in your body is only known when you show the symptoms, when you have the discomfort. So at the very initial process, this discomfort or pain can be relieved or can be reduced up to certain extent or for some time, so that you will be relieved for some time, but you will not be cured, right? So to cure you completely, what you need is to kill the germ or to kill the cause of your symptoms. Cause of your symptoms is definitely the microorganism that is in your body, that is multiplying in your body, right? So that is our next, that is the principle of treatment, is to kill the germ or kill the pathogen, right? And in the first step, as I said, the symptoms can not only be due to the pathogens, but it can also be due to the exaggerated reaction or due to the reaction shown by our immune system. For example, fever, or fever may be also due to the immune response, that our immune cell may be trying to raise the temperature so as to kill the germ, right? Or even the inflammation. At the site of infection, you will see that there are inflammation, right? There are some changes, physical appearance. So that inflammation also is due to the immune response, right? So as we lower, so that is why sometimes the symptoms may not be you may not be relieved also until and unless the germ is killed completely. So the intensity or severity of your case will depend on the number of microbes that is going in your body. As I said, all living organisms have the tendency to live and to multiply, right? So as soon as they infect your body, they start to multiply themselves. So the number of the pathogens or the germs that is multiplying in your body, the severity of the case will be, right? So the next main principle of treatment is to kill or is to remove the cause or remove the pathogen from your body. So removal or killing or neutralization of this pathogen can be done by some chemicals like antibiotics, right? So this antibiotic kill or stop the growth of disease-causing microbes in your body, right? But the antibodies does not work equally in all the types of pathogens. That is also very important. Diagnosis, right? So proper diagnosis is also very important. Suppose the causative agent should be known, because antibiotic cannot kill virus or the protozoa. As we have already discussed, the different classes or different groups of pathogens, right? And all these pathogens, though their main function is to overtake your body system and to cause the disease, but they are unique to them. I mean, they are unique to their own. They have their own physiological process, or they have their own metabolic activity which make them different from one another. So main principle in the production of antibiotic or the antiviral drug lies in their specific type of metabolic activity, right? Say for example bacteria. So bacteria have a special metabolic pathway that synthesizes the cell, right? So suppose bacteria, suppose the bacteria, so they have the metabolic pathway as to synthesize a cell wall that covers their body, and this cell wall acts as an armor. Okay, so it acts as an armor or protection. So as a result, it can live easily in our body. Even immune system or the immune cell cannot kill it easily due to the presence of this cell wall, right? Suppose this is the bacteria. Suppose the red color which I am drawing, and the blue is the cell wall which is covering the entire body. And the synthesis of this cell wall is due to a special type of metabolic pathway in them, right? So the main principle is to get rid of is if we are able to remove this armor, right? If we are able to remove this armor, now you can see that the bacteria is exposed now, right? Once we are able to remove this protection, now bacteria is exposed. As a result, it will be easy to kill the bacteria, right? So this is how the antibiotic works. But this is not same for all the types of pathogens. Say the protozoa may have different mechanism, The viruses may have different mechanism. So the antibiotic will not work on virus, as virus do not follow this metabolic pathway, as viruses do not synthesize cell wall, so it will not work on virus, right? So this is how the principle lies in the production of antibiotics based on their specific metabolic pathway, right? So this is also one of the reasons why antiviral drug is very difficult to synthesize or very difficult to get, as viruses have a very limited metabolic activity of their own. They take up the host machinery to survive in the body and to multiply. So as a result, it's difficult to get rid of, and also it is difficult to make antiviral drugs, right? So here, but despite of all these difficulties, we have some antiviral drugs also. For example, to cure AIDS or HIV infection, we have it can be treated by using the antiviral drug called retrovirus, or you can say antiretroviral drug, so that controls or minimizes the effect of HIV infection, right? So this is what I was explaining about how we can treat the patient, or what are the principles of treatment, and how does an antibiotic works, or why antibiotic does not work in case of viral infection, right? Because and also there can be question like antibiotic works on microorganism, or antibiotic works on bacteria, but it does not kill the host cell. Why? Because host cell is not killed by the antibiotic, right? Suppose antibiotic kills only bacteria. Suppose this is a bacteria. So the antibiotic kills only the bacteria but not to the host, right? So antibiotic kills only the bacteria but not to the host, and the reason why is the cell wall, because the host cell, the human beings do not have cell wall. This you know, you have already studied in your previous lesson that the animals do not have cell wall, they do not synthesize cell wall, right? But the bacteria have the cell wall. That's why the antibiotic will work only, or it will kill the bacteria, but it will not harm any, it will not cause any harm to the host cell, right? So this is about the principles of treatment. Okay. So that is it. I hope this will help you in understanding the concept.